Alright guys, welcome back to Dragon Armory Airsoft. I'm Copperhead, and today I'm going to be talking you through my loadout. Now, there's nothing too special about my loadout. There's nothing too expensive or something from some special company or anything. I kind of bought this at the cheapest I possibly could, while still kind of entering into that next level of Airsoft where people look as cool as I do, so... But also, this loadout is always changing, so if you guys have any suggestions on gear that you personally use or you've heard of or you know that work that I could use, then definitely tell me in the comments below. That would really help as I'm trying to improve this and make it better, because there's definitely some points in here that I'd like to fix. So, without further ado, let's get into my loadout and listen to the insects as we talk out here in the woods. So, starting off, let's go with my hat. It's a Boonie hat. I personally really like the Boonie hats. I got started on them a long time ago, got a free one, never stopped wearing them. Nothing special about this one, I just picked it up at my local Armory surplus. I really like it. I prefer the longer brimmed ones versus the shorter ones like what the military uses. These just stand out more and I like them better. And you'll also notice that this one has a few patches on it. I do carry around on it most of the time a Gadsden flag patch. Actually it says, United we stand, don't tread on me, and it's got rattlesnake. Really like the snakes. But actually when I'm filming I take this off because I figured out that it makes a weird squeaking noise. When the patch is on, it's weird. So it just makes for a better gameplay when you don't hear this going on. It's kind of weird. So that's the Boonie, nothing too special about that. Let me take this mask off real quick. And since we're on the basis of headgear, I'll talk about my camera real quick. I actually use a Hero 3, very old, we've had it for years, it's been through a lot. I definitely would like to get a better one with better video quality and definitely audio quality. I actually recently drilled a hole in the side of the case to give better audio, and actually the case is falling apart, so it's held together with a rubber band currently. So I really need to do some work on my head cam to give you guys a better gameplay. Moving on down to my face protection. The face protection is very important. Airsoft has very few safety precautions, and so you need to put a lot of effort into the small points, and that is face pro. I prefer these low profile mesh goggles. Mesh doesn't fog up. I prefer these mesh goggles over the plastic. The mesh doesn't fog up. I really like it, and these just small and low profile, as I said. I think Lancer Tactical makes these. They're not too expensive. I really like them. Unfortunately, not all fields allow the mesh, because theoretically, if you have cheap BBs, they can actually send splinters out into your eye if they hit against the mesh through the tiny little holes, so it can hurt your eye. I've never heard anything too substantial about that, just theoretically, so if you have any information on that, definitely would be helpful. So when I go to a public field, I pick up my Valkyrie plastic goggles. These cost about 30 bucks. They're actually double tinted to keep them from fogging up, because that's a big thing in Airsoft. People's goggles fog up, and we really didn't want to have to fight that in the heat, so we went a second step and went with the fan on top. This actually works perfectly. They've never fogged up. Even got the power pack in the back, so I really like these. Now, there is one drawback to having the fan on top of the goggles. For when I'm filming, since the camera is directly above the fan, you hear this whirring sound. So if you go watch my videos from the War Games Oklahoma, link down below, up here, somewhere, you'll hear that whirring sound. So I gotta figure out how to fix that, so it's slightly annoying. But they don't fog up, and that's what's important. Now moving down to the face mask. I could talk for ages about eye protection, just face masks in general. I've been planning a separate video on that because it's very important, your face mask, but I'll keep it brief. I like this fabric mask, mesh mask, mesh in the front. For a while I ran a two-piece or a single-piece full face mask, but I eventually just switched to two-piece. I like it better, fits closer to my face. And the fabric, it keeps, you know, it keeps the mesh on the front, but also it conforms to my face. It's more comfortable. I can wear this all day. Now, the thing I hate about these is when I wear them, it actually kind of forces these down, so it's a little bit more uncomfortable. So that's why I like the low profile even more. But pretty simple. They're not too expensive, pretty cheap. Definitely recommend them. So next, get a hydration pack. There's absolutely nothing important or special about my hydration pack. I just picked it up, my Army surplus. It fits its purpose. It gives me a water source that doesn't hinder my movements, really. Low profile. I recently took this caving, and I'm glad I did, because then I didn't have to carry on a large water bottle. This was very handy to have. I had bought one that had moly and everything, and had separate pouches. I really preferred that because I could carry more. It was a backpack even. Unfortunately, I lost that, so I had to revert to this. I definitely like to get a better hydration pack. Now let's get down to the important stuff, and that is my battle belt. So I had used a chest rig, or sort of a chest rig. It was actually a kind of web gear. I'm not really sure what you would call it, from I think the Iraq War. I used that for a very short amount of time. Unfortunately, it wasn't customized to the weapons I used, so it was very limited. And the chest rig was fine and all. I like them. I would definitely use them again. But everything was up front, so whenever I laid down, pressed into my chest and kind of hurt, I was afraid I was going to break something, hindered my crawling movement, which I do quite a bit of. And also everything was just up here, and it's a chest rig, so I had to... But I've been watching, like, the snipers play, and they all use molly belts, these battle belts. And so I decided to buy one. And the reason I like battle belts, one is it's on your hips, so everything you can see, it's where you need it. As you can see, everything is easily accessible to me to make the proper reloads and everything. But also, by putting all the weight on your hips, it actually doesn't drain your energy levels as much as if you were wearing a chest rig, which rests on your shoulders. That's why hiking backpacks have those special straps that go on your hips and not on your shoulders. So I've used the battle belt for some time now, and I really like it. Now there's a few drawbacks to the one I bought. I think it's made by Lancer Tactical. It was pretty cheap. The problem is kind of when I'm crawling around, whichever side is heavier will have a tendency to end up here. And that's kind of annoying, and then eventually it kind of just works its way up here occasionally when I'm running. It's kind of annoying. No, it's not kind of annoying, it's really annoying. So, just getting one that actually will not do all that. I think you can get ones that actually attach to your belt or Velcro or anything. If you have any to suggest to me, please do. I think they would be really helpful. I'd be up for the investment. So, other than that, really like the battle belt. Definitely recommend it. It's low profile, not too expensive, and keeps everything to a minimum. Now, what's on the battle belt? Well, there's not much to talk about. Got my mag holder. I usually carry on one mag for my sidearm, because you really don't actually need a sidearm. Your gun works, then you're probably not going to need it. Now I'd like to talk about these M14 holders real quick. When I run the M14, this is the mag patches I use. I was trying to save money, and it hurt me. These work fine if you're going stealthy and everything. The problem is, it's kind of hard to get them back into whatever pouch. Well, that time it worked, but it can be difficult. So in a firefight, that's not very good, wasting time just trying to get your mag back into the pouch. So I need to invest some money into that. I also need to invest a bit more money into my magazine holder for my pistol, make it better. Now I want to talk about this. Oh my stars. So I run a Colt M1911A1, by KWA, I believe. Not going to talk too much about it, but that it's a really good replica. But I got a hard shell for it. Let me tell you, hard shells have revolutionized my combat effectiveness, upping it. I've practiced just pulling my pistol, holstering it, putting it back in without looking, and it's just become completely natural. Forget those fabric ones that just match all pistols. If you can, get a hard shell. I cannot, man, this is nice. And they're not that expensive. They're just, I think this is 20 bucks. It's amazing. I can just have the pistol in an instant. It's all just a reaction. I love it. Just love it. So let's start wrapping this up. I do want to say one more thing. I actually have to cross these on my molly belt because if they're straight, they'll actually end up falling off to my shoulders. It's kind of annoying. So definitely another reason. But taking this off, let's talk about my BDU, I think is what it's called, if that's the actual name for it. Again, nothing special. I kind of just went for kind of what was cheap. Well, not necessarily. I spent a bit of money, like around $100 just on this. You don't have to do that if you're getting into airsoft. You're like, oh, now I have to go spend $100 on just on clothing. No, that's just me. Personally, I could have just gone with this top. Real quick, how I chose this camouflage, I actually went to the store, or sorry, the website that I was buying my camouflage from, took a screenshot of each pattern, removed the background, and put in a picture of the environment and that I'll be playing in, and in that way I saw the most effective camouflage this one out. It's worked thus far. Really glad with this purchase. Definitely like this. The pants, however, that came with it don't really work. They're for a bigger dude that's shorter than I am. And the problem with buying airsoft clothes is that when you're 6'4", clothes are hard to find along with shoes. So really, I just wear whatever pants I put on. They're usually camouflage. I think I'm going to start wearing some welding pants. They're green. They're really rugged. Really like them. One of the things that was a big drawback was the pants actually came with internal, oh wait, I have them right here, internal pockets for knee pads. They'd always end up on my calves, so they didn't work. So I've recently bought, from my Army surplus, knee pads, if I can get them out. Well, or I can just put my knee up. As you can see, I really like these. They do need some work. They're a bit too big, which is surprising. They actually sometimes end up down here. It's kind of annoying, but they're kind of handy to have, especially when we go to play Airsoft Tulsa and we're sliding around on the concrete. They definitely make it easier. So, guys, that's a real quick rundown of my loadout. Nothing too expensive. I'll link the stuff down below. I'm Copperhead, signing out! Oh, ow!
Alright guys,